What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the backyard. I want to talk a little bit about a new to me site that we have that I picked up, and I think it's a few years old. This is a HHA Tetra site. It's 2 pins, obviously a sliding site. Got the yardage tape right here. There's a little bit of confusion on setting these sites up that I have found amongst the internet. There's a couple of good videos on it showing what you want to do. I don't have it on me right now, but I'll talk a little bit about setting this up. When you get your site, if you buy it new, sometimes if you're lucky, underneath this site tape that I have put on here, you will have a setup tape. It will say setup at the top, and if you have to buy the tape, I think there's $16 on their website. Highly recommend getting some as far as doing different setups, because different arrows fly different. We'll get into that in just a minute. But on the setup tape, you want to take it and put the setup on that top pin if this thing adjusts. So the top pin will be zeroed on the setup tape. It'll say 0. Hold on, I'll go grab a tape. I think I have one in the house, and I'll be able to show you a little bit better. Okay, so I was able to find some. You're gonna get a box like this. It's gonna be checked on it, say like Tetra, Nitrix / Rise LD Tetra tapes, and it'll have a check mark right there if it pops up. All right, so you'll get a pack of tapes. Looks something like this. I got mine secondhand, so this is what you call your setup tapes. There we go. It'll say setup on it, and then you see the 0. That's where you want to stick it. It's not, there you go. That's where, anyway, you get the idea. That's where you want to stick the 0 onto the top pin, and basically you want to take your sight and you want to loosen it and go all the way down. So this would technically be down, but you want to go all the way up right there, lock it, and have that top pin on the 0, right? They call it zeroing in the target, so, or zeroing in the sight. So basically what you're going to do is find 20 yards. So I have a sight, or I have a target right down here, and you're wanting to adjust these, or excuse me, the short ones right here on this side. You want to adjust those up and down, and I'll show you. You can see the little hash markings. See the little hash markings right here on it. Mine's like down all the way. This is a 2014 Hoyt Factor 30. I got other videos going on that, but anyway, love the bow. Sight makes it 100 times better. So you want to find your 20 by using that slide. Basically get your up and down, and you got your micro adjustments here, and then of course you can make bigger adjustments by loosening this up and moving this, and it's also got all different kinds of adjustments. If you bought the site, just one of the reasons why you bought it, because you can really fine-tune any of HHA's stuff in. Okay, confusing part. They tell you to get a 20-yard thing, so, or a 20-yard 0. So you want to take that site tape, setup tape, put it on 0 on the top pin, find 20 yards, so shoot until you're right at 20 yards where you need to be by adjusting this part up and down. Like I said, find the 20, right? And then they say to go back to 60. Now at 60 yards is where you're going to spend most of your time doing 90% of your shooting, right? So you find 20, make the little adjustments, and go back to 60. If you're not used to shooting 60 yards, it is kind of a ways for a bow. Most of y'all are like, oh, I shoot 100, whatever. You know, throw me a comment. But find your 20, go back to 60 yards. I do not recommend jumping straight back to 60. A lot of people confuse this. They think that on the sight tape, because if you look at the setup tape, it goes from 0 to 145. These numbers mean something. So the numbers, the actual numbers on here, 0, 20, 30, you know, so on, they all have a meaning, right? Essentially what you want to do, shoot your 20, then I recommend going to like 35, shoot 35, and then keep rolling the dial, your dial on your bow, until you're pretty much hitting 60 dead on, right? And that, for me, that was actually 43. So on the sight tape, the confusing part, I saw so many comments. Either they didn't read directions, or you're like me and you didn't get directions because this was used and you bought it off your friend that has, you know, shoots Garmin sights or whatever, and he didn't want this sight, whatever. This is a lot better than what I had on this bow. It went to, when I was shooting 60 yards and I was, you know, dead middle at 60 yards, when I rolled my sight, it was on the number 43. So what does that mean? Like, I finally found 60. I'm shooting comfortably at 60 yards, but the setup tape says 43. It's very crucial that I'm saying this, because a lot of you do not, either didn't read into it, threw the directions away, or whatever. I kind of put 2 and 2 together. Now I have a sight tape, the way that they come, right? If you look closely, these numbers up here, I'm going to come over here so I can kind of read this. These numbers have a meaning. When you look at them, you see 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. When I was shooting 60 yards, my setup tape, right here, if it'll catch it, was on the number 43. That means that the tape that I need, is that a crow? The tape that I need is the number 43 tape, just like we talked about, the number at the top. So basically, you peel the 43 tape as best as your ability, put the number 20 on the top pin, and basically be as smooth as you can, roll it around, snug it under the pins. The pins, don't try to move the pins out of the way, just get it under the pins. Mine's not perfect. I left my setup tape on there because I was lucky enough to where there was, the stock setup tape was on here. I didn't have to use the one that was provided in the packs. Set it on 20, and now it's dead on. So essentially I go to 35, the sight's on at 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. I'm not shooting much past any of that. So, except, you know, it's a really good tack sight. If I wanted to shoot tack, I do have tack arrows. Now, I was going to talk a little bit about that. I know that this video is a little bit of rambling, but I wanted to try to make sense of this whole sight tape thing, because if you got a guy that just went and bought it, you know, they paid, what is that, I don't know how much these sights are now, but I know what I paid for it, and I paid a lot less than what they are, so that's why I considered it a good deal. Well, I found out I hunt with Easton Axis, so these are my game day arrows. They are 340 spine 5mm arrows. Now, on a limb not long ago, I went and bought brand new Easton 5.0s. Super happy with these. I guess this is kind of a 2-in-1. But I'm gonna tell you, these arrows shoot a lot faster than the Axis arrows. They shoot a lot faster and a lot straighter. At 35 yards, there is really not much difference between my 20-yard pin and my 35-yard pin with these. There is with the Axis. I like the Axis because I've killed a lot of deer with them. This one specifically, with the lighted knock on it, has been through 4 to 5 deer. You know, super tried and true, trust it. Not that I don't trust these, because I plan on filling a whole quiver and moving on to the 5.0s and try to take, you know, see how they react. And we're going to do some videos this year on that too. But what I wanted to do was to go into depth and explain. Use your rangefinder. Find your 20 yards. Adjust the actual sight itself up and down. Find 20, and then move on out. Like, keep moving out. Like, and then you got to roll the dial. You know, you got to move it up and keep rolling it out. But that's what the setup numbers are. So you can find the actual sight tape. Now there's a whole bunch of them in here, and I can't remember what the numbers run through, and it all depends on the poundage of your bow and all this. Let's see. This sight tape's 39 to 51, 52 to 64, 26 to 37. So I guess it goes to 77. So it goes from 26 to 77. And the lower poundage bow you have. So I'm kind of like somewhere in the middle, I guess. But I recommend buying this little kit if you guys want the part, like the number for this one specifically. Pause it and grab it. That's the number. When I bought this, it had a different style mount on it, and I wanted the long competition dovetail. I like a little bit of forward weight on the bow. I don't run a back weight, but we're just filling tags. We're not shooting tags. I'm trying to fill tags out here. I'm not into, you know, going shooting tags and stuff is fun, you know. I enjoy it and everything, but at the end of the day, I'm only doing any of this to fill tags. So we'll get set up here. We'll throw some down range, and I got a 20. I don't know, it's like 21 and like 37, but we'll set it up. I'll move the camera around, and maybe we can get some good shots. We'll throw a few down range. We're not really looking for super big accuracy. I'll go down, make sure I'm set on 20, lock the sight down. There we are. Even go as far as I got 20 yards right here from where I stand. Got the pin set on 20. You can make little different adjustments. We'll go ahead and shoot a couple of axes at the Morel dice down there. I do need to take some of this. The serving has came apart on my QAD, so I really need to take it off. My opinion, it doesn't last. The serving doesn't last long enough to have it done unless you're doing it yourself. We'll throw some in there. And we'll shoot out to 35. A little left, but anyway, we'll roll up to 30. We'll go to 36. I think that's about what it is. But we'll shoot. I don't know if you can see in the video. It's about 36 yards. It's down there next to that oak tree. We'll throw some 5.0s at it. I do need to get some more serving for that QAD, but I don't even know if I need it really. I'll probably just take it off and be done with it. And that was dead center. I love shooting out 35 and 40. That one felt good. We'll put one more through it. It was a little left, but it felt good, so I want to throw one more. Yep, feels good. Look good, feel good, shoot good. Anyway, that's kind of where we're at on that. But just remember what the setup tape is for. You're going to get a whole book of them. Unfortunately, you only get one of your number. But in my opinion, for being a first-time HHA customer, the setup procedure, as far as the tapes go, they're super dead on. They're better to me than any sight tape out there, but that's how you set up. If you're new to the whole single pin, dual pin thing, like I was, it's just not a whole lot of information out there, or I haven't clicked on the right information. I'm the kind of guy I like to try to do it myself. I did not lose any arrows setting this up, but I did hit the ground a few times, and you know, but out at 60 I didn't lose any, which was crazy. But my first initial 20, I was confused. I didn't know that you had to slide this piece, so I wasn't quite sure about that. I wonder why that moves a little bit. Maybe it's loose in there. Maybe I can tighten that up. Anyway, it's probably going to affect everything, but anyway, that's how you set a HHA up and get good results, and then practice with it and see how it goes from there. But I appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe. I'm not affiliated with HHA at all. I do like their products. They are a lifetime warranty, made in America equipment. But you guys like and subscribe, and we have a lot of really good stuff hopefully coming this year. A lot of good deer we're going to get on, and hopefully you guys get to see us fill some tags. But shoot a comment if you got a question or anything. I'll be more than happy to answer it. I'm not an expert at this whatsoever, but I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks. Y'all have a good day.